Australia energy crisis forces producers to eye offshore moves. Manufacturing cuts. Sydney. Australia's biggest building materials producers are cutting back operations, trekking costs and thinking about moving manufacturing offshore to control a spike in power and gasoline payments, adding to stress on the authorities to clear up the country's strength crisis. The CEOs of Brickworks Limited, the United States of America's biggest brickmaker, and Boral OTC, BOALY Limited, the pinnacle maker of maximum different production substances, flagged the changes at the same time as Australia's new Labor government scrambles to attempt to red meat up power substances and convey down power charges. Power fees have surged in Australia amid a shortage of coal-fired era because of planned and unplanned outages, which has pushed up demand for gas-fired era on the identical time as fuel demand for heating jumped during a cold snap. The rate leap has been exacerbated with the aid of document high global coal and gasoline costs, stoked through sanctions on Russia. That has left Australia's $100 billion $70 billion production zone, a first-rate electricity and fuel consumer, exposed to hovering costs, specifically those whose cheaper, long-term strength contracts are expiring. Brickworks, for example, has gas contracts with Santos Limited averaging $10 in line with gigajoule, locked in for 2 years, as compared to the contemporary government-mandated price cap of $40. If we needed to pay, whilst our agreement rolled over, the modern spot price, we would no doubt be shutting Flowers down and moving manufacturing offshore, said Lindsay NYSE, LNN, Partridge, handling director of Brickworks. Brickworks pays just $3 according to gigajoule for fuel inside the United States, wherein it owns Pennsylvania-based brickmaker Glen Jerry Corp. If we rolled over and you had to pay $40, and I could purchase fuel inside the US for $3, then it's a quite clean equation to training session, introduced Partridge. The United States generates simply 1/6 of Brickworks' income from building materials, however the organization could shop cash with the aid of delivery product lower back to Australia, he stated. Boral, which downgraded its annual earnings forecast in May in part because of energy fees, told it has cut return on operations due to the speed and importance of the trade in strength prices. We were pressured to briefly curtail some areas of our operations and alas have been left and not using a different alternative than to pass increases onto clients immediately, said Chief Executive Officer Zlatko Todorchevsky in an email to, without specifying the scale or products laid low with the cuts. We have additionally had to boost up plans to study our overheads as we offset these inflationary demanding situations. Boral welcomed a past closing week by way of the Australian electricity marketplace operator to cap wholesale strength fees and take manage over electricity resources. However, Todorchevsky stated the one's temporary measures do no longer offer long-term confidence for big producers. The Business Council of Cooperatives and Mutuals stated this month manufacturers had been choosing among shutting uneconomic operations and passing better fees to clients as energy payments jumped greater than 600% in a few months. Incitec Pivot, Australia's pinnacle fertiliser maker, has stated it'd near its Brisbane plant on the stop of 2022 because it was not able to line up and low-priced gas settlement. Gas export controls. The present-day disaster has highlighted the want for more gas deliver inside the domestic marketplace. For a rustic that's the sector's biggest exporter of liquefied herbal gasoline (LNG). Manufacturers have long clamored for gas export controls or a reservation of fuel for the domestic market.